So, I mean,
Yep.
Oh yeah,
all we do is get money.
Yeah,
All we do is do a little something.
we're thinking ahead.
All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about some real estate. I've been waiting on this all week.
Me too.
So, real estate Raven,
Yes.
who are you as a person? Who are you as a professional?
As a professional, I am a hustler. I'm a new self-employed real estate professional trying to provide excellent service to each and every client on each and every deal. I would say personally, I work so hard every day. This self-employment stuff is serious.
Absolutely, you got to hustle.
Yeah.
Yes. If
So-
you don't work, that's it.
So, what were you doing before you got into the real estate game?
Before real estate, I have a degree in professional studies from Memphis in health administration, and I just couldn't find a job anywhere. I was a receptionist at Baptist for three years, and I was trying to move up. I would talk to people every week, and I felt like I was more of, the manager type. I felt like I could run the practice, but I never got that opportunity. So I was like, what can I do? I was praying every day. I was like, I hate going to work. I hated going to work every day. It was the worst. I hated clocking in. If I had deals I needed to get done, I couldn't do it. I had to call my partner at the time, Rico Smith. I was like, hey, can you go here, go there? Luckily, I had him to do those things for me. But one day I woke up, I was like, I got to go. And I called my parents. I was like, hey, I need y'all to hold me down for about a year so I can get some things going. And they have, and it's been great.
So, I'm glad you. Oh, what?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. I'm glad you mentioned Rico. And we've reached out to Rico, and we're going to eventually get him on the. We're going to eventually get him on the show. So people who probably know Rico as Mad Paper. So Mad Paper Coaching, he's been doing real estate. I've been personally following him online for a while.
Yeah, me too.
And I kind of, doing research about you, I seen that was your stories. You were following him online.
Yes.
So what made you want to, go ahead and give it a try? What made you want to get a coach?
It's so crazy. Like, we had a mutual friend, his girlfriend, Callie, and I. And one day, the mutual friend left me with her. She just, left, and we clicked, and I was talking to Rico about, I was like, I've been seeing you. I'm so interested in doing this. And so he was like, call me, come to class. And he had just started the class, actually.
Okay.
So I went, and ta-da.
Now, was this at the University of
Yes.
Memphis? Did you graduate from Memphis?
I did.
Okay. What year did you graduate?
2013.
Okay. So how long have you been doing it?
For about a year now, just a year. Yeah.
This year. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is real estate investing, not a real estate agent.
Right. But I am in the process of getting a license. I just need to.
Where you going to a school now?
I've already done it.
Where'd you go?
Success Real Estate.
That's where I'm going
It
now.
is perfect.
Because the first class was supposed to be Thursday, but they canceled the class.
With the weather.
Yeah, well, no, she had pneumonia.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Fig.
She is so good.
Okay,
I
great,
love
great.
Kevin. She's
Yeah.
a little bag of fun.
Yeah, I've heard great things about her. So now explain to the people the difference between a real estate investor and an agent.
Okay, so an agent basically deals with clients that are looking to purchase a home with a home loan and other financing. Investors usually have cash. They buy homes with cash, or they have private money or hard money. Real estate agents, they deal with the MLS. It's only certain things that you can do without a license. So that's kind of, I wanted to get started in a hurry. So I was like, I need to wholesale. So that's what I started doing. And then I eventually went to the school.
Could you explain what wholesale real estate is? Sure. Like, how's it work?
It's a special subcategory of real estate in which you identify a motivated seller, and then you market that property to an investor that has cash to buy it.
Okay.
A lot of investors.
So you're like a middle.
Right, you're
like
a middleman. And
Okay.
basically what you do is you sell the contract. You say, hey, I have this house under contract for $30,000.
Okay.
Do you want to buy this contract? So that's basically what you do. In order to wholesale a deal, you have to have a purchase contract and an assignment.
Now,
So you assign that property over to your investor.
Okay.
So basically you're giving them the contract and you're assigning that property over to them because it's going to have your name on it.
So the first one is the purchase agreement.
Right.
So if Tyler's selling
If he has
a
a house
home,
for $50,000.
$50,000,
And he's like,
so
no.
you go find him.
Right. I'm going to
Okay.
find him.
Okay, and you say, I want to buy your home.
I want to
cash.
buy your house. And he's like, my wife just died. I need the cash for the funeral.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. Greg here has $50,000 cash to buy the home. Actually, he said that he could pay $60,000 for it.
Now, how much was Tyler selling it for?
50.
50. Now, did you negotiate that number?
Yes,
or?
I did. I
Okay.
did. I
Okay.
did.
What did he really want initially?
He really wanted 80, but
Okay.
because he hadn't remodeled or
Right.
he hadn't done anything since 19.
There's some maintenance that needs to be
Right.
done.
Right.
1970.
He has mold and
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
asbestos.
Yeah.
He just trashed his house
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. So Tyler gives you. So you and Tyler have a contract.
We have a contract.
For
When I
$50,000.
go and see his house,
Okay.
we have a deal right then.
50,000.
Right.
Okay.
And because I do my due diligence before I go to the property, I already know the comps in the area.
Okay.
So I know what Greg can buy this house for. Plus,
Okay.
he already told me that he bought a house around the corner
Okay.
for $60,000 last week.
Okay.
So I'm so excited.
So
because
50,000 with Tyler. Greg
Yeah.
is going to buy that property
for
for 60.
For 60, and I'm gonna make 10,000.
And you take the 10.
And you're
off
gonna make
the-
10.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay,
make 10.
you're gonna take
But
the 10.
are there other third parties involved? Like, is there another? Like, how does it all come together at the end?
The
Like the final
closing-
paperwork.
Closing attorneys.
Okay.
It goes to the closing office.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are they paid anything?
They are paid, but
Okay.
but Greg's gonna pay since the
So you negotiate that.
right.
Say you're going to give me the 60,000, and you're going to pay.
You're gonna pay closing costs
Okay.
and any other fees that are associated.
Do you always do that?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you link with all these people? How do you find the buyers?
Yeah. How do you find the
Yeah.
initial
Well,
people?
Rico.
Okay.
Rico has a large network, but he taught me how to build my own.
Okay.
So I've been doing that.
Okay.
Do you ever attend any of the auctions that they have for Shelby County?
I don't, but I want to because you have investors there.
From what I understand, you have to have hard money at that point to be able to purchase
Yeah.
auction homes.
I've heard.
Because actually, I've looked into that. I've looked into you can get some really good deals if you have cash in hand. You can.
But the
There's
thing about a lot of those deals is that I think you have to buy it, blind. I don't think you can.
Without being able to see the property?
Right.
Ooh, that's
Unless-
a risk.
cool.
So
unless-
what if you go in
That's a
and
risk,
right.
it's no
Right.
drywall,
Right.
so
Just
Yeah.
the one thing I noticed when I was doing that is you look at houses that have been foreclosed on recently, because some of those houses, once they hit auction, I saw some houses that were like 4,500 square feet in Collierville, and it'd be like it's 2/3 of market value. And I'm like, worst case scenario, you have to do some remodeling.
Right.
If you know somebody can do that, you can save a lot of money
and
for
that's
a brand
so
new
good
house.
for people who are first-time home buyers. They just don't know that that's the way to go.
That's an option.
When I'm
yeah.
ready to buy a house, I would definitely buy one that needs rehabbing because it's a win-win. You can go in and do what you want to do to
Right.
it, and you get it for cheap.
It's just like buying cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we look to the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I know Rico works like all over the place. Are you just limited to the Memphis, Tennessee market, or have you started expanding?
Well, I've had people to reach out to me, but I don't think I'm ready to expand yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a license.
What part
Yeah.
of Memphis are you doing these deals?
I'm all over Memphis.
Okay.
All
All
over.
parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except maybe Westwood.
Okay.
My investors don't play around in the war zones.
I got you.
South Memphis, North Memphis, we're not
Okay.
going over there.
Okay, I got you.
I understand.
So one thing, I was watching an interview with you in Mad Paper.
Okay.
He was speaking about the universal laws
Mhm.
and self-improvement,
Yes.
self-mastery. would you mind sharing just for our listeners, like, what is that?
That's one thing that I really admire about him, that he incorporates those things into the coaching program, because those things that he teaches, like, you can use those in your everyday life. Anybody, even if you're not doing real estate, you know, you can apply those things to anything. And he talks about the law of thinking, the law of manifestation. It's so empowering to sit through one of his classes. The motivation is there. Like,
is there one of those particular laws that you relate to more than the other? If so, like, what is it? Like the details of it.
I would say the law of forgiveness.
Could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. He gives an example in which he says that he had to forgive some people in order to move forward in his life. You know, we have guilt towards people, and that holds us back from really getting to where we need to go, because we're internalizing a lot of things. And I think for me, I had to forgive my dad, you know, for not being there for me growing up. But I did have a stepdad, and he did fill that void, but it's still that's my dad, and he's living, and he's in the same city, and you know, it's, you know.
So have you forgiven him?
I think I have now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It's a start.
Yep.
Yeah.
So have you started considering have you started coaching anyone, or are you thinking about that?
Yeah, Rico is like, you need to start coaching, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hustling right now. I'm ready to start selling some commercial properties, you know.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of commercial properties, you also stated that you do something with rental properties as well.
Yes,
Could you explain that?
Sure. Yeah. I work for Premier Property Management as well, leasing rentals. It's been great. It's little good part-time side money. Yeah.
So that's totally separate. So you're doing both.
Yeah, that's separate. I do both.
So that's something that you don't need a license for?
No, you don't need a license to lease rental properties. You don't.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So tax season is coming up. So as far for you, are you considered a 1099 employee, I assume, or
self-employed?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Yes.
Explain.
Well,
I'm glad I asked.
I had to ask the lady that does my taxes about it, and she's like, we're gonna have to get you an LLC, and you know.
So you formed your own.
Right.
Gotcha.
So she had to explain all that to me. I had no idea.
Were you're able to write off a lot of your travel expenses and
all of that stuff. I never knew, like, the things we don't know about stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I also recently went to a seminar, Fortune Builders, to see how to invest and buy property. So I'm looking to do that this year. I want to do my first flip this year.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be dope.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So you also said you you completed the real estate program as well to get your license.
Right.
So are you going to be doing all three then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
I've got to find a broker that'll will allow me to do all three.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
That's
to do.
going to be the hard part.
What's a broker?
The broker is the company under which you work as a realtor.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes. You have to have a broker. All your money goes through your brokerage.
So you don't need a broker now.
I don't need a broker now.
But once
But once you start, as far as being the agent, you'll
Right.
need one then.
Yes.
Okay.
is there like a top 5 list of brokers that, like, who's like your number one that you'd like to work for or work with rather?
I'm not sure.
Okay. What's the
not
biggest
sure.
one in Memphis?
Probably what's it called? Regions.
Regions.
There's Regions. There's Keller Williams, and I think there's like one or two other ones.
There are lots. You got Crylike. You got
That's the big one, right? Yeah, they're
Crylike,
everywhere.
Hobson, yeah.
Okay.
But
Mark
one thing I'm
Stewart.
thinking about is once I get my license, I'm debating on if I should work for a bigger company or should I work for one of the small ones.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about the homes in the areas in which I want to work.
Right,
I know the
right.
signs that I see in the in the yards where I want to be selling. So
Right.
Where is that?
It's
Collierville?
Shady Grove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
got you.
38120.
Mhm.
There's some. Who is the other? I can't think of it. Magnolia Homes is building a lot of expensive homes in Collierville, they're going to have there's going to be a lot of money to be made out there as they expand that over the next few years. So as far as success, how do you measure your success? Do you have a money goal that you want to hit every month or week, or how do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I do have money goals. I have numbers, really. I've learned that real estate is all about numbers. Everything's crazy how you can break something down. I at least want to do 1 to 2 deals every month and sell least at least 5 rental properties.
Okay.
So when you have one of these deals where you have, was it purchase agreement, and you're looking for investor,
right?
How long does that process take normally?
Quick. If I send,
a week?
If I send a lead right now, my investors will respond in about 1 day. In a couple of hours, maybe.
So you're working with
Depending
the
on
same
time.
investors,
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what they do.
Right. You have to build relationships in this business. When they see that you're serious, when your email comes up, they are trying to see what you got for them.
So here's a question: what do the investors do with the home?
Well, a lot of them have rental properties. They
that makes sense.
renovate them
That makes sense.
and they put tenants in them. So
That makes sense.
and some of them also they have investors in other countries that they sell them to.
So they flip them to them.
Right.
So it's just
They do say
flipping going.
they do say in about 5 to 10 years, China's
Gymnastics.
going to own like half the U.S. property.
I believe that too.
They're already taking over Jamaica.
Yeah, they have.
I don't know.
So let me ask you this:
Yes.
what's a typical day for you? How early does it start? When's it end? What are you
typical
doing?
day, I set my alarm for 8 o'clock.
Okay.
I used to have to be at work at 8, so I'm like, okay, I'm self-employed now. 8 o'clock, I'll get up, have prayer time, check my emails, see what I have for the rental property company. Probably go to a couple of homes to see if we can purchase them, do some inspections. It depends. Every day's different. I love that.
Keeps it interesting.
Yeah, it does. And I love it. It's like not even work for me.
How difficult is the negotiating process?
It's difficult. Oh my gosh.
Like that initial
It is
one, where like you
extremely-
said, Tyler wants 80,
it's extremely
and you
difficult.
bring them down to 50.
People have so much attachment to
Yeah,
their property.
they invest a lot in their homes.
So they
yeah.
have like they're like on a high pedestal, and you have to bring them back down to
Yes.
reality.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are not. They're just not. Oh my gosh. They're not realistic.
Yeah.
And you go in some of these homes and they have like growth charts of their kids on the wall. So
Yeah.
it's like they have attachment,
Yeah.
but they're not realistic either.
Right.
You can go in that house, the floor is terrible. It's
Right.
cracked and the ceilings have leaks, and they're like, I looked on Zillow and it's worth $130. No, it's not. That was without the cracks and the
Pristine
mold
condition.
And,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
and Zillow's not accurate.
Reminds me
Right.
of at the dealership when people
Yeah. Was it what do people use? Kelly
Uh,
Blue Book
yeah,
online,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah,
come
Kelly
in
Blue
and say, "This car's worth 25,000," and we offer them
It's worth
2,500. 2,500. And
We're
walk
like,
out mad.
man, wait a minute. That car got 287,000 miles. That's at 2013.
Exactly.
How you even put that many miles on it?
So, Raven, have you walked away from a potential deal because someone was too difficult to work with?
Oh man, this is so funny.
Uh-oh.
I have to tell this story.
you got a story.
Please tell.
Last
oh,
week.
Man. My first
Yesterday.
deal. My first deal ever with Rico. I was like, Rico, I need you to get on the phone with me. This was at the point where like I had just started taking phone calls by myself. Because he would get on every call with me and he would talk and I would listen and I would write things down like, this man is a magician on the phone. How do you come up with this stuff? So this guy, he was selling the house. He's a well, I better not tell.
No, do tell.
Yeah, do please.
Maybe he lives out of town, so maybe he's not listening.
He's not listening.
He was an ex NFL player, and he owned a couple of properties in Memphis. Man, that guy was crazy. He was like, I have a good tenant in there, and y'all gonna pay me. It was all bad. First of all,
Interesting.
he I feel like he needed the money really bad.
Oh.
So we offered him. He had a number that he really, really wanted, and we offered him like 8,000 less, and we would pay closing costs and everything else. But he got so upset with us, and Rico was on the phone, and he was like, "Hey man, calm down." And the guy was going crazy, and he hung up. Rico was like, "Look, we ain't doing this deal. This is too bad. This is too much." So I kept talking to the man. He was like, "You're so sweet. I wish your partner would understand." So I kept talking to the man.
Right.
Luckily, his property manager was a guy that Rico knew. And he calmed him down, and we ended up closing the deal. But he was like, you don't let people talk to you like this. We ain't doing no deals like this."
Yeah.
And I didn't want to hear that. And I'm like, "Hey, I need to get this deal done because I need this money." But it was cool. It was a learning lesson for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, is there an area of town that you don't deal with or you try to avoid by any means necessary, or is everything pretty much open game right now?
Everything's open except, like the war zones. I don't do
What's a war zone?
38114, just everything.
38114, where's
South
that?
Memphis area.
Somebody listening right now.
Man, she talking about my spot. It's my hood. Thank you for listening to the 3 Dead Kings podcast. We love you.
Anywhere that you wouldn't,
Right.
So
what's 38114?
That's South Memphis.
South Memphis.
Where's South Memphis?
This.
It's,
South Memphis
by,
is kind of
Kellogg's and
Oh, that's part of Midtown?
But I take that back. We do have a property, but it's like Midtown.
Okay.
It depends. So I won't say 38114.
So
Take
have you ever?
Is that University of Memphis? No, it's 38111.
No.
So if you ever drive down in Midtown, you will literally go one block will have like really nice, like almost $1 million homes, and then literally the next block over, it's like
You in the hood.
like it's like the slums.
I don't think
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
over there
I
before.
have.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Last week.
So why is it called a war zone? They shooting over there?
Well, that's what investors call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's their
Dealing with
A lot of
So that's the
high
terminology.
crime areas, probably a lot
Dealing with
harder
some
to
sketchy people.
Yeah.
Scared to knock on the door.
anywhere in
Yeah.
North Memphis, where the crime schools are bad, all
Yeah.
that
But shit,
stuff.
I want to go out those areas.
Because
neither.
who's gonna buy
Yeah.
that? No,
Right.
Yeah, it's harder to flip.
Right.
Yeah, so
You might get flipped trying to
Right.
flip.
And I don't want to go.
hey, when you show up at the property you just bought and somebody living in it,
That
hey,
has happened before.
We not,
For real?
we not
Yes.
leaving.
oh, is he at a story time?
That has happened before.
Oh, do tell.
We not leaving.
No rental properties, really.
Oh
wow.
man,
Yeah, you can pull up and you think you're gonna show a home, and you got,
People in there. Little Johnny.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of a real good name, real ghetto.
Yeah.
Keisha
Look.
and
Daquan,
Little Dariana.
Katricia.
yeah,
Katricia.
Junebug and them.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Lil D.
crazy.
And just imagine the client.
Right.
They like,
They like,
Uh-uh.
nah.
No.
Let's get out of here
Forget
now,
it.
immediately.
So
spend a little more.
with that, does that fall? I forget what that law is called, but does that fall like a squatter law? Do you guys have to? What do you guys do with that? Is it where do you have to serve them with papers as far
Eviction
as like
process,
yeah?
probably.
Is that like 30 or 45 days or something like that?
Well, how
or-
do you know how long they've been there? I mean,
Right.
you just
Yeah.
I'm calling the police
Yeah. Okay.
and letting the company know or whoever owns it.
Mhm.
No, I'm not dealing with that until I buy mine.
Let me ask you this: what advice would you give to someone that's in real estate school?
Study.
Nah.
Study. That test is difficult.
I
Very.
heard it is.
Very.
I heard it is.
Very.
Yeah. But
It's tricky
really?
because it could be this, but it could be that too. So
It's a multiple choice?
yeah,
The whole test?
the whole
Oh, I
test.
aced that then.
Or it could be
I don't
like
even need to go to
you
school.
can do this, but or what happens if you do this and this, or yeah, it's really tricky, really.
But I did hear a lot of good things about the instructor. So
Yes, I
yeah.
love Kevin.
Yeah.
She is so sweet, and she is a real estate beast.
Oh, okay.
Yes, she has
Okay.
had so many situations. Anything you can think of, she's been through it.
Hmm.
Yeah, she's gonna
Okay.
tell you the mistakes that she made, all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that.
She's super sweet, always willing to stay late, come early.
So would you, back to the wholesale real estate,
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend that for someone?
I would.
Do you think that anybody can do that?
I don't think anybody can do it.
What kind
a
of
lot
person?
of people try to do it.
Yeah.
It's a tough business. It's very, very difficult.
What makes it so tough? The
negotiating,
okay.
everything.
Dealing with people.
Yeah.
So on average, how many hours a week do you put into the wholesale?
I would say about 25 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much doing the rental properties?
Not much. They send leads.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'll do those and probably do a little marketing on my social media, but those properties sell themselves. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever been in a situation where you negotiate the first contract and you can't find an investor, or you always got an investor?
I've always got one.
That's nice.
Got one. That's scary.
Well, that's good. That's great.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
To go in there and you have a contract and
what would happen in that situation if you couldn't find an investor?
nothing. You would have to pay them their earnest money that you put up or that you said that you
Right.
had.
Okay.
And who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So do you ever have to advertise your initial property, that initial contract, or is it just a matter of just calling the investors?
That's just calling them, sending them an email. They want to see pictures and then
Right.
they want to come out. They want to look around to make sure what you said was right.
Yeah.
Now, maybe not for you because you've got a pretty good system there, but would there ever be a situation if someone was in wholesale real estate and they wouldn't have access to those investors, that once they negotiate that first contract, would they post it on like Craigslist, or how would they advertise
They
that?
could do that, but
Okay.
I would recommend to have those relationships built.
Right.
I mean,
Because you trust them and they trust
right.
you. Okay.
And you don't know people
Right.
out there. They may take the contract and not pay you, you
Right.
know. So that's scary.
Pros and cons of wholesale real estate for our listeners.
Pros, the money. The money.
Can you talk about the money a little bit?
What's
more?
The money.
Yes.
I gotta know. I gotta
Can
know
we
the
talk
most.
about- can we talk
you made
about the
on
money?
the deal.
The most I made one deal.
Nice.